so I brought the wood and let it season. One of the challenges with rescue wood, or maybe I should define rescue wood, it's the urban / the tree in your backyard. Instead of throwing it away after it falls down or gets cut down, there's certain companies that will mill the lumber and mill the wood and make lumber out of it. It's very satisfying, not commercially viable at this time. I mean, a lot of people are doing it. Guys like me are getting the wood and trying to make stuff out of it. It's difficult to work with. And that's what this video is about, is a couple of techniques that make life a little bit easier. I enjoy working with it. I still do, I buy wood from the lumber store for projects. But that I started and been involved with the rescue wood quote for a while. I've given seminars or other Zoom meetings on it. And I've worked with the Mloof Foundation with the same theme. So on that note, how about, I'm going to play the video, or we're going to play the video, and then we're just going to talk about it over it, and we can stop it and go forward and all that with your questions. Okay, Kev?
Yeah, and I think there's a way to raise your hand or do something saying you have a question. I'm not sure that works somehow, but we'll try to figure it out. So here is.
Okay, here we go. And scroll it up. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. And
just click on there you go. Click.
Well, first, can everybody see the video?
Yep. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna get it started here. So.
Okay, I got this piece of wood from a friend, DC Tree Works in Monrovia. It was laying on the side and he was going to throw it away. I said, hey, can I have that? I took the piece. I did do some prep work on this thing about a month ago. And it just so happens I was going to make a little table or chair with it. Then Kevin asked me to do this. Notice I start off with templates and oops, forgot to do it all around. If you notice, I'm really not too particular about the dimensions and all the stuff. You know, I draw kind of a pattern of what I want. And then, oh, where's the leg go? Now, I did make these legs about several weeks ago. And this is just a process of woodworking. I cut out a rectangle with 90 right there. And the face that I'm going to draw next, that guy right there is a 90 to the face towards us. That's important. And notice it's a little bit big and thick. One of the things I try to do, that Kevin and I talk about it, is the projects, sometimes we need to reduce mass. A lot of the stuff that's made is just a little bit too big. But yeah, I'm just eyeballing it. Just kind of getting a rough idea of what I want. I can visualize it. I know where I want to go, and now I'm doing it layout. Just a quick sketch. And this is not the final shape, but it's just given me something to go on when I'm in the process. So after a couple of iterations, actually, I decided this is the right way. So I cut out a pattern. That's going to be the connection, and I walk away. I don't know what I'm doing there. Oh, I got a piece of wood. Just happen to have a piece of wood that like fits perfectly. And again, you notice I'm just drawing around my pattern. Just drawn easily. While we're doing this, I started woodworking when I was 33, and I've been cutting. So maybe I should say that a lot of this, I don't think it's dangerous, but make sure that you're comfortable with the processes that you're doing. I don't think I'm doing anything too unsafe in this one. I don't know.
Now the unsafe part with the big router bit, we didn't film that part, right? Because You don't want to try to be in the perfect position for.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I did not do one thing. Okay, now if you know my little bandsaw, it's an Inca, that bandsaw is 40 years old. And oops, just stopped, obviously. Then I just say, okay, well, I should have done it on the big one to start off with. Now, this is my joinery technique that I think is really important to see. You don't have to do everything with the big table saw. I have a couple table saws, but if you notice, I'm just carefully cutting with the big bandsaw. That is a carbide blade, 1 inch. I do a lot of resaw. And you notice I leave the as long as I can, the surfaces. That's going to be, you see what's going on. I'm just getting it prepped for joinery. And I guess I could put a new band or new belt on my, and ironically, it's like fits the pattern. I don't know how that happens. And I got to give the old thumbs up. It surprises me every time it works. Now, I am an advocate of the domino machine, but you could do this with splines or lots of other methods, but I like the domino. Just cutting the domino in 8mm by 40. The domino machine really is a game changer. Now the trick is to do the horizontal in that, so it's a little more complicated. But right here, I'm figuring out the distances. It takes me a while to spatially understand what's going on. I don't want to screw it up too bad. So I'm looking and calculating where the domino is going to go. And oh, I must have figured it out. Now I'm making sure that the level is all the same on all three legs. Okay, just double checking. This whole process from the start to the end of this video took Kevin and I about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours to do. I'm just marking. Now notice I'm using a ballpoint pen, which in this case is the error is negligible. For dovetails and that sort of thing, I use a scribe. Okay, now it takes a little bit of time to get the domino set up. Now this is a little tricky, but easily doable. The domino machine doesn't have any it doesn't force the tool to move if you hold it firmly. And you'll see. Turn it on. I guess it's on. One of the things I notice a lot of people do is they try to push the domino in too quickly and it moves it around. So just slow and easy. Perfect. And you'll notice, 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right.
I get a lot of criticism from my good woodworking friends about my tolerance for error, but it's the finished product that I care about. And you'll see, I'm not going to sculpt this one in, but a later video or online, or Kevin will post the actual finished I think it's going to be a table, and I'll probably enter this table in the Orange County Fair next year, or this year, in July or whatever it is. Okay, slow and easy. I don't know if that's slow-mo or whatever, but it should be real slow.
No, that's actually, I think, fast forwarded.
Now, what I'm looking at, there's a center line on that base plate, but it's all kind of, for some reason, I couldn't see the center line on the face of the domino. So I just got my little ballpoint pen and highlighted it a little bit. See, actually, those 2 dominoes on that are really good. And then we do it again. You can see the domino machine working. This guy was just a little bit off, well within my tolerance. Okay. And test fit. The reason I leave the connector block with long surfaces is to more accurately use the domino machine. As soon as I'm sure that everything is, the domino work is done, then I will have to double check everything. Just now it takes me a few minutes to figure out the orientation. I really like to have a clean work surface when I'm doing this. I have back benches that are just chaos, but I try to keep the surface I'm working on looking pretty decent. Now we're going to take the little bandsaw, put a new blade on it. There we go. Same bandsaw, different blade.
Working blade.
A working blade, yeah, work a lot better. Now you will see me actually hold or grab onto the bandsaw blade in a few seconds. This is an old bandsaw, and if you try to pull back, the blade will come off of the but I turn off and then I hold on to it just so it doesn't kink the blade. Okay, so I turn it off, I hold on to it, and then I start it back up. Now this process is something I like to do. It comes off the bandsaw like that, which is perfectly adequate. But I do like to get rid of the bandsaw marks now. It's easier, and plus it makes for a better setup for the next stage, which is routing. I'm a fan of the Festool system, and I had all of my sanders were Festool, but then I discovered the Mirka fit sanders. They're a little bit lighter and a little more ergonomic for me. And I like the 5-inch, it gets into the tight quarters. Go on to my Instagram, which is woodworker Dennis, or Dennis Hayes Woodworker. You can see a lot of this method being used on other pieces of furniture. I think you did your one table.
Yeah,
did the same thing.
Yeah.
Now this is just one of many different ways to do something. This happens to be for a table, but it's good for chairs and any others. I think you can you'll see it'll all come together at the end of the video, which we'll do live. It takes me a few minutes to keep spatially oriented. It still looks pretty clunky. Now we're gonna start thinking about reducing mass. Okay, there we go. We got it. That the black mark is not the mark that that was the first attempt, and now I'm getting it more laid out how I like it, but it fits this template. You know, why we say pocket, we're going to pocket the top of the legs, create a pocket for the top of the legs to fit into. It's just a clean, simple, elegant little method of securing the base to the leg or to the top. Now, if you've taken, or if anybody's ever, I don't know if they have videos of my workshops that I gave at the Malou Foundation. I use this, it's called a tabletop thumbnail router bit, which I really like. And now this is my handheld, we're rounding over the top edge with a 3/8 round over bit. We'll go into a little bit more of that. This is important, the 3/8 round over. I just got the battery operated router, and I really like them. I had to modify this one to accept the 3/8 bit, but it was more than powerful enough to handle it. Okay, I think we probably could have edited some of this.
Yeah, this could have been.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then I think I'll move to the next part, but that's the important part because you're going to use the same size on the pocket that you make.
We'll as soon as we as soon when this is over, I'll go into more detail on the what exactly it is we're doing. Let's do it. Let's do it right. With the smaller roundovers, you can climb cut, which is what I tried to do in the first, but that 3/8 is just a little too much to do that. So best to always cut into the rotation. I think we're done. I think it's number 3, right?
Yep.
Yep, done. Oop, okay. Yeah, you want to film that? Okay. Say test hole. That's a test hole.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I got it on.
Test hole. Perfect. Perfect. And when it's all over, then I'll.
Yep.
I think it's all. Screw it up. Oh, now we got to put it together. Now you notice that the legs I've reduced. I've made them a little bit skinnier in that last part. And now I'm thinking, now I only care about the visual appearance of everything. What it's going to look and sanding. Even on this little guy, it's going to take a long time. But the good part is we can sculpt it without it being attached to the top. Makes it a lot easier. I think this is the first 3-legged table bench that I've made. And you notice with that up, I got it. I change to whatever looks good to me. I think we're almost.
Yep. Yeah, we condensed this video to 14 minutes as opposed to the 2 hour,
Yeah.
2 hours would have been just to, not bore people completely. So.
Now I am on purpose, I'm assembling it on top of the piece just to make sure that it's flat. and to make sure that the orientation is what I want. And a little bit of cleanup. Why do I have 2 glue bottles out there, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Backup, that's what it is. So a little cleanup. On end grain, I always use too much glue. On long grain, I'm very picky. I try not to use too much. Okay, I think that's it, Kev.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
Okay.
Any questions or any? I'll be quiet for a minute. Okay, Kenny Mays, I'm going to give my website, and then I'm going to have Kevin give his. My website is dwhays.com, and that Hayes is Hays. Yeah, and you want to give your.
Well, we'll talk about that at the end.
Oh,
It's
okay.
mostly for his stuff here, but it's basically cucamongawoodworking.com. It has, I mean, that's where you found this already, so
Okay.
I don't want to. So the next thing here, we stopped the screen sharing, so we are gonna turn the
Okay, that right.
right there. All right.
Yeah,
And
tell it. There we go.
basically get into the next part, which is actually attaching or making the pocket holes on the tabletop, and then actually
Okay, you remember this guy here that we did the little when the audio came on. This is the pocket. Now, how we do the pocket is and here's the same leg. Basically, can you see that? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Kevin, if you'll just hold this guy right there. So what I do is I've cut these guys out. They're 1/2 inch plywood, and then I simply do that. And I have another one that goes right here. And then I have another one that fits right here. And then I double side tape them down firmly, okay? I'll just go and take it out, get rid of all this stuff. And let's see, now we'll get this guy here a little bit closer so you can see. And I'm gonna get little technical stuff here. 3/8. I don't know how well you can see if that's a 3/8 round over bit. And then we're going to follow the plywood with a 3/4 inch top bearing rabbiting bit. I bought these at Home Depot. They're the only ones who sold them back when I got it. And I've got several of them. This guy's been well used. So if you can notice, I'm going to set this guy. See how it just slips right in between all these? These are firmly glued in, or double-sided tape. And I'm going to put maybe a 1/2 inch or less, 3/8 of an inch pocket into them. So I'm going to carefully take it off. Now I'm going to go over to the drill press, and I'm going to pre-drill the pocket. It makes it just easier to do. So I'll be right back. Don't go away. Now you can see where I have drilled down. Now we're going to make some noise. Ready? What do you want right here?
Yeah, that's good.
Now, I use a plunge router. Okay, here we go. Okay, we check everything to make sure, and I don't know if you can see this or how well, but see how at every corner there is a little radius that is 3/8 of an inch. Now, if these are all perfect, they're pretty darn good. So now, moment of truth. If you screw up, you can do the same process here. You can do the same process. You make a patch, you do the same thing, patch it and redo it. I've never done that.
Never. Like,
But
I think I had to do it on my table, right?
yeah, I've done it several times. One time I forgot to double side tape one of these guys down. Now, I wanted to do this before, but Kevin wanted to do it live. Doggone. That double-sided tape. Okay. There's a chisel. Thanks, Kev. Got to use good double-sided tape. Moment of truth.
Yeah, that goes over there. This side going first, so it's
Yeah. Amazing. And it's done. Tip this guy up just a taste. So that's it. Okay. I get the wood chips out of my computer.
yeah. So any questions? That's and basically like he said, there's about probably he's got about eight hours of work to finish it and get it all looking good. So
You guys see? Got a couple of questions here. I'll answer. Let's see, you have half inch, I think he said. Okay. On the bigger stuff, I have a 1 inch rabbiting bit. And then that would take, of course, about a half inch round over. They make these guys, you just have to make sure that they correspond, that you have the right size. But I find that the 1 inch works really good on the bigger stuff. The cool thing about this method is if you had like a 12-foot long table that's all irregular, you could design a leg and set it on the corners. You could have 7 legs if you want, and then you just do what I did to connect the 3 and you make it. Okay.
There's a good question from Art asking where new woodworkers begin. Watching YouTube videos and figuring out who knows what they're actually doing, right? I mean, what's your?
I'm a totally self-taught. I for some reason I woke up one morning after reading a book on woodworking, and I said that's what I want to do. I was, like I said, I think 32 at that time, and I just had to do it. The self-taught route, you reinvent the wheel a lot, but depending on what you want to do, taking a class, or there are lots of good classes you can take. I know Allied Workshop in Los Angeles, the Malou Foundation is doing some classes, but there's lots of good woodworking classes if you go that route. Some of the schools, the JCs have some woodworking, but I'm self-taught. I'm glad I did. I have spent a lot of time. I've learned as much as I can. I've read everything I can. I've all of the past woodworkers from Sam Maloof, George Nakashima, all these guys, I've studied them. In fact, I knew Sam Maloof. I've talked with Mira Nakashima, George Nakashima's daughter. Great woodworking scene in California. Depending on where you're at, there's a wonderful, I get people from all over the country I talk with regularly. For a newbie, I'll say what I say with my good friend Ed Brizardi, who's an incredible woodworker, is cut wood. Just go. The first thing I bought a piece of mahogany and a hand plane and a chisel and a hammer, had the hammer, and I just started cutting wood. And I've had I like the technical stuff, but the technical really isn't as important as all of what a lot of people seem. What's important is to make something beautiful. Just work at making it look good to your eye, and don't be afraid. Who's this guy right here?
Oh, that's Art, which I think is you said you're in
New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in. Boy, send me an email and I'll hook you up with some really great people. Give you some ideas on where to go and what to look. The East, especially up in the Pennsylvania area, is really a vibrant woodworking scene. Starting with Wharton Esherick, who is the grandfather of studio furniture, which is what I do. And it really is, the woodworking is important, but it's about what you make, in my opinion. And when you make stuff, you got to make it beautiful as you can. Okay. Woodworking. I do glue after everything is all perfect. I do glue the legs into the pocket, and that even, I think your table, it's more than enough to last forever.
Yeah, and we actually put a screw in it first to tighten it and make it completely flat, right? And then took the screw out once we glued it and then put a
plug.
plug on top to,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. Again, if you want to have a little decorative, you can do that. But like this guy here, I wouldn't, because it's light duty. The glue, if you notice, I have the Type Bond 3. That's all I use. There's people that'll talk, 20 minutes on the virtues of every glue. I just use Type Bond 3. It works. Everything I ever need, it's more than enough, and the differences are minor. I like the long open time. That's the reason I use it. The long open time, you can spread it, and you've got a few minutes to assemble instead of rushing it. Okay. Let's see, load 3 around the shoulder on side of the. Actually, what this little, so many things can be done with this. I don't know if you're familiar with this Sam Maloof. If you're not, I would suggest you Google him. He and his son created this joint that's famous. It's called the Maloof joint. And it's just a variation of using router bits and roundovers, or dadoing and roundovers. Powerful stuff, simple, keep it simple. I have no problem with cutting hand-cut dovetails. I enjoy doing them, they're very relaxing, but sometimes I just like to show off the beauty of the wood instead of the beauty of the craft.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. Anyone, any more questions, or for anybody at all? And
Okay.
if not, we can wrap this up. Thanks everyone for coming and participating. So now, one thing though is, I mean, one question is, would people like a follow-up presentation of some type, or, because he's going to finish the chair and or the tables.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a table, but it'll be sturdy enough to sit on.
Right. Because we'll do that. Try to get more people to show up, and I'm glad we got the attendance we have here. I was thinking maybe it would just be 2 people showing
Yeah,
up. But,
me and Kevin doing it for the fun of it.
But me being the first time doing this for through the Cucamonga Woodworking website. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of our plan here. So.
Yeah, can't think it. I love doing this. I love teaching. I love showing what I do. I know it's a little bit out of the mainstream, but I've had a lot of success, and thank you for coming. I love doing it.
All right, I'm turning this off. Everyone have a good day.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Yep. All right.
Are we still?